Well, honorable members, not just this House, I think the whole country has identified a very serious challenge and a threat to the survival of our democracy. A friend of mine, resident in the US, wrote to me and termed our democracy, Ghana's democracy, as lawless democracy. Now, when they say a democracy is lawless, it means it is not a democracy. It's a failed democracy. Because democracy thrives on rule of law. Rule of law. Please, this House, I read a statement 2 days ago, is made up of 276 representatives of the people, elected members. The executive is made up of an individual president elected by the same people. If we, 276, elected from the diversity of Ghana, cannot come together to agree on the way forward, and you want to allow one individual who doesn't represent that diversity, he represents one group, a party. A party. How could he be the one to take the decision to solve such a problem? That is why it's incumbent on this House. This is the House that can sit together and find the solution to this national challenge. Globally, we are acclaimed, but this is a very sore point. And all objective observers saw this coming. We used to have what we call dominion service. It came down to colonial service, and then came to government service, then to civil service. Then they termed it public service. Now it is self-service. Are you getting the trend? You can't get it. Now it is what? Self-service. Who are leading that? The political class. It used to be called dominion service, because that time the United Kingdom had dominions. So those who were working there were called dominion service. Then later on, they termed as colonies. Then it became colonial service. And you used to have the Secretary of State. And that we became a government. We formed our own governments and then became government service. Then we established civil service. I worked in the civil service before. Very strict rules. This civil service has deteriorated, and a term came to be used as public service. And usually, as they deteriorate, the conditions of service get better. So the public service servants rather receive better conditions than the civil servants, who were just serving the civilians. They were not looking for material gains. Now, this whole public service has gone worse and is now self-service. So when people are appointed, into positions, including elected, the focus is how they serve themselves. So it's now self-service. The people are observing us as political leaders. This is what has deteriorated to the extent that our security agents now move from state security to government security. And now from government security into private security. That's where we are now. Private security. Even private security, if you look at our law, the Constitution, and our laws, there are regulations, but that is not being done. So everybody is now trying to survive on his or her own. That is where we have come to. And that is why you have this. The only organ of government that can provide the solution is Parliament. Because all the interest groups are represented here. The president cannot, because the president is seen as representing one class of people, political party. That is what is. You have to lead to find the solution. And so when you get the opportunity and you yourself get up and you are a mirror of what is happening, you encourage it. That is why we say we will manage this discussion so that we can take up the issue of the transitional blues. That's what is happening in our country now. Yes, we have very good, peaceful elections. After that, then everything goes haywire. We can't continue this way. Yes, it's true we have to look at the Transitional Act. It was a progress made, but there are a lot of gaps. The system that you were referring to, if you talk about UK, they don't have a term limit. There is no law in the UK saying that when you elect a government into power, it's going to serve from this date to that date. And so the circumstances determine whether they should call for election or not. Our constitution is very specific. Very, very specific. From 7th January to 6th January, that's a 4-year term. That's the end. It's automatic. And so we have to prepare. It's not the period that you use. You cited the US. Yes, they use a period. We also use one. But what should happen? Handing over is not what happens in Sierra Leone. Immediately they announce the results, the president is sworn in. What has he taken over? There must be a process where there's real handing over, peaceful one. You are going to be minister. This is what you are taking over. You can't just go to take over and it's an empty office. You're looking for information and you don't even know where it is. And that was what was happening here. That is why we are trying to pass the Parliament Transition Act, where after a speaker is elected, before you get to the office, the former speaker is nowhere to be found. Then all the staff there, they've left because their tenure has ended. Then you start asking questions. You're looking for the files, you can't trace any file. And it has happened, and it's happening in government. So we need to sit down, and I thought by this time, after this handing over a number of times, we have understood that no party can be in government forever. But yet, we haven't. We haven't, because I'm telling all of you, it's not them. There's no them and us. There's no them and us. We are the same people. And these people are just tools that are being used by some people in political offices. They are tools. They are just doing that for survival. You are the people behind the scene, pushing them there to do what they are doing. Until the political leaders sit down and take control, this is what will continue to happen in the country. We will all be at risk. And I really don't see leadership in many of you because you are being led by the mob. You are afraid of your followers. The leader must lead. You have to listen to your followers, yes. But you take the decision and you hold yourself responsible. You cannot be allowing mob to be pushing you to be doing what is happening in this country. That is not allowed. Then what is leadership about? And it's both ways. It's not just one party. It has happened. And in fact, on some occasions, I've had to weep because of how people I knew were mutilated and killed during transitions. Oh, yes. Yes. Even Jesus Christ wept. And you must know this. I think all of you, you've been quoting the Holy Quran and the Holy Bible. And the lessons are there. The best friend of Jesus Christ was who? Judas Iscariot, not just Judas. Judas, there are many. Judas Iscariot, who finally sold Jesus. It's not Judas. So today you sit here and Bob Marley told you that those who eat and drink with you, they will do what? Your best friends will be what? Exactly. Please. They will do what? Crucify him. And it has happened in this country on many occasions. I will want to please urge all of you to read the political history of this country. And you will see and you will learn so many lessons to guide you in your political career. That is if you want to stay long. If you want to be like others, fine, you can continue. But there are a lot of lessons for us to learn, which we haven't learned at all. Our definition of leadership is wrong. I will be initiating in this house, and I need your support. We will have to have what I term National Integrity Award. National Integrity Award, where annually we will identify people we believe are men and women of integrity and give them sumptuous awards. So that we can motivate people to do what is right, what is good, what is just, to sacrifice for people, to build people, not to build houses. These mansions that you people are building, I don't know whether you carry them into the graves. Please, I can't understand it. So when these young people are so hungry, they are very, very hungry because they've been denied food for 8 years, 4 years, and they see that the one denying them the food is no longer there. What do you think they will do? It's survival of the fittest. And when I saw the incident that the minority leader referred to, oh, it's sad. But we've seen similar ones. But should we encourage it? Should we allow it to go on? Should we keep on decrying the situation, we must find solution to it. So I'm going to charge the leaders. It's not a matter of resolution. No. We have to take this Presidential Transition Act. We are working on ours. We have done a transition here smoothly without you people realizing it. There was a clerk of parliament. Now we are having a new clerk of parliament. It's a transition. Smoothly. And we managed it. He is still acting. And you act to the last day, which is 2nd February. That is when the former clerk would have ended his tenure. He's on leave prior to retirement. Then he will now be confirmed as full clerk. Smoothly. And we are doing everything to make sure that he will still have us in mind. And anytime we call on him, he will be here to support the House. We can put these systems and structures in place at the national level. I had to call my former Professor Michael Quay, and that is why many of the times I'm doing things, I refer to them. And we've been talking. We are good friends. He's my former boss. It's just that now it's my tenure, it's my term. Why can't we do that at the national level? It's sad. What is the difference between this and the military regimes? You haven't experienced it. You don't know. 1966 coup. You were not born. 1979 coup. You were very young. Eh? You were born. 79. 1981, you were born. That one you were born. Yeah, in the 79, you were not born. You were born. But you don't know what occasioned it. And you don't know what the then leaders, many of you who keep on blaming His Excellency, the late Jerry John Rawlings, he was even in detention. Those who staged the coup, and he came in and they took him as their leader. You don't know what happened. Who were there? I was a strange leader then. These days, you get up and talk about your leadership. Eh? Later days since. So please, we are in charge of the issue of law and order. Let's do what is right. Because as at now, until we take up the leadership, the current ministers that we are appointing and approving, actually we are approving for the president to appoint, they will have it difficult to, on their own, reset the country. It's this House that have to anchor them to be able to do it. We have to. So if you keep on making these exchanges, you are worsening the situation. Please. I will end it here. And I want to call on all of you, if you are part of those having private security, to disband them. We don't want something forces, or what are the other names? Something boys. We don't want them. No, we don't want them. Please, I expect that after you've spoken, you take up the leadership. And I have directed that each and every one of you be given the code of conduct that we approved as a house. Every member of parliament must be given a copy, and I'm going to enforce it. That is why I made the statement that if you have evidence of any member indulging in galamsey, draw my attention. I will put in motion a process where you lose your membership as a member of parliament. Please bring the information to my notice. We will take action. Yes. That is how we can fight galamsey. Because if you are the people behind and these poor people who are saying all die be die, they know when they are in the pit can collapse and they will die, but they have no alternative. When they come out of the pit, do you look at them like human beings? They are just tools you are using. So we will start it from here. And I mean what I say. Honorable member, please, are you listening? The gentleman seated by Honorable former Minister for Communication, Minister for Finance, are you listening to me? I mean what I am saying. I'm not joking. Unless you hide the information from me, but if I get any credible information on any of you on this matter, I'm going to initiate the process. And you can lose your seat as a member of parliament. The law is there to enable us to do that. Please, a word to the wise is enough. Leadership